All right, everybody, welcome to my version of a comic book speculation video. We're going to make it a quick one, but hopefully it's going to be informative, and maybe you agree with me and maybe you don't. But let's talk about what I think is coming up for Marvel, the MCU, in the coming years. Um, and I'm basing this on what I've seen, not on what I've heard, but what I've seen. Okay? So here's the thing. I watched every Marvel property on Disney Plus, on the screen, whatever came out last year, I was on top of it. Loved it. Thought everything it did was great. Um, you know, I just think Marvel's got it. They know what they're doing. The studios, they understand how to put together a series. They like to connect the dots. And because they like to connect the dots, I think that there's a big black gooey dot they're about to connect. An ooey gooey one. Okay. I believe that Knull is actually going to be a big bad in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the near future. And the reason I say that, I was going to make this video earlier last year. Not much earlier, but towards the end of the year, I was going to make this video. But I was like, let me wait a little bit so everyone kind of got the time to see everything that's out there. I didn't want to do any spoilers for anybody because I hate that. But I think I'm going to try to keep it spoiler free still. But I still think everyone right about now has seen kind of everything from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Okay, so from watching everything, I think they've dropped a couple clues that are letting us know that Knull is coming. All right. Let's start here. We know Thor, God of Thunder, is coming out. I'm sorry, Thor, Love and Thunder is coming out this year. And we know that Christian Bale is playing this fellow right here, Gore. So that opens up a big door. Now, Gore possesses a symbiote sword called the All Black. Okay, which when you see in the comic books, when you see the way that they show the way it moves and the way it reacts to things, very similar to Venom. All right. Now we know that Sony has their Venom universe, and we know Marvel's got their universe, and we know that Sony wants to make money, so they're not going to just willy nilly say, "Hey, Marvel, go ahead and take Venom into your universe, make a movie with Venom, cut us out of the profits. We're not gonna have anything to do." No, they're not gonna do that. Okay, so I think that Marvel understands the symbiotes are very popular and people dig them and they dig the character Venom. So they want to get a little flavor in their movies. Now they've already teased something, which I'm not going to spoil unless if you haven't seen anything. But they've already teased that a little bit. So here's the thing. I don't see them bringing Venom straight away into the Marvel universe because it just doesn't make any sense financially for Sony to just give it to them like that. When Sony can make all the money on Venom movies by themselves without Marvel Studios' help, they don't need them. They can just do it. But I'm sure Marvel wants a piece of that as well. So they've done it before. You know, you've seen Quicksilver in 20th Century Fox, and you've seen Pietro in the MCU. Okay, so I think they're going to do it something like that. Okay, but the reason why I think Knull is coming is because of God of Thunder and because of Love and Thunder. This is just an easy transition when you see the origin of Gore. When you see how he came about, how they showed his background, they showed the God of Light and the God of Darkness. That's some cosmic stuff, which they've already started to get into the cosmic stuff on Marvel. You know, from the movies this year and the television, well, not television, I'm sorry, from the movies this year, even Venom, which wasn't part of the MCU per se, they've pretty much just said it in the movies that, you know, there is a hive mind organism, the symbiotes. Okay, they're a hive mind, and they're connected throughout. They see and hear what each other does. Pretty much, I'm guessing it's a hive mind. So that just gives you a lot to work with there. Okay, so we might not see Venom per se in the MCU. I know people say, "Oh, Venom's coming, Venom's coming." Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There might be some version of Venom, but you're not going to see the same version you see in Sony. Now, here's the other thing too. Venom in the movies has no spider symbol on his chest. There's no reason for him to have a spider symbol on his chest. There's no reason for him to have a symbol at all. Okay, because he's in a different universe and Spider-Man's not a thing. But Knull has that symbol on his chest. He has a version of it that you also see on Venom. Okay, they can use that in the MCU. I'm sure of it. Why? Because Knull came out years after this whole Sony deal. Knull was created a couple of years ago, and I feel like Knull was created. I could be wrong. It was created simply to get him into the movies. I just have a feeling. I could be wrong, but Knull, everything that Knull encompasses as far as his character and his history, they could do that outside of Sony because his origin, even though it involves Venom, it involves Thor a lot. It involves the old gods. It involves the Olympians. So I think that there's a lot that they can use, and I think they've just been dropping little things here. Okay, so I think for sure that Knull is coming, and I'm going to tell you, Shang-Chi, No Way Home, Venom, and I'm even going to say the Eternals. The Eternals even had a little something that made me think, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. That's different. That's not how I saw that going. And it feels like it's an allusion to Knull as well. If you haven't seen Eternals, watch Eternals, watch to the very end. Check out the end credits and tell me what you think. Okay? Or skip ahead to end credits if you don't want to see the movie, but tell me what you think. There's just a lot of symbiotic action going on here that I feel that the next big bad that is on his way is Knull. Okay. Try not to be spoilerish with this. I know pretty much everyone's seen all the movies and everything like that, but I don't want to say too much if you haven't. But if you haven't, get out there and watch them all. They're all pretty good. I'm gonna admit that the Venom franchise is not really my thing. I didn't really care for it as much. It's fun. It is. It's it's a comic movie, but I prefer what they're doing over on the Marvel side, and I think everything they're doing is smart and is connecting, and they're taking their time, and they're just dropping little drops, little black drops everywhere to let you know what they're planning on doing. Okay, that they're probably going to bring some symbiotic action into this universe. So, um, you know, so when you guys get a chance, go out there, pick up some of these books. These are good books. These are good books to pick up. This is probably the the most basic cover ever. I don't know why I bought it. I just walked into the comic book store that day and I saw this and I was like, well, that's a crazy variant because it's not a blank variant. It's just simply words. There's nothing much to it. But they got my money anyway. I thought it was kind of cool that they went through all this effort, not much effort actually, just to put this cover out that says Knull is coming. It felt like it was a sign. Like I said, probably the most basic $4.99 cover I could have ever bought, but they got me, so it worked. I picked up the issue. All right, guys. So that's all I got for today. I'm going to come back with another video in a couple days. Something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. So hopefully you guys will tune in for that. And I will see y'all on the next. I was just on the flip side, but I don't want to get any kind of trouble with anybody. I'll see you on the other side. How's that? Have a good evening.